Nadia is somebody who has worked with Code Pink, but also she's an engineer. And so as I introduce Nadia to come to the microphone, I just want an engineer.
Thank you, that's very kind. I have been feverishly trying to write my speech. That's why I've been on my phone typing away for the past hour. But I'm going to try to do my best from what I've written. I hope you will have patience with me.
Hooray!
Sorry. Please be patient. I'm not a big public speaker. I'm usually in the background. But yes, I want to speak about the genocide that's unfolding in Palestine. It is that, along with the complicity of global institutions, is just a shameful stain on humanity. We are seeing the systematic dismantling of international humanitarian law right before our eyes. Hospitals, schools, refugee camps, humanitarian aid warehouses, spaces that are supposed to be safe and protected from conflict, are being targeted by Israel. Healthcare workers, journalists, teachers, and countless other civil servants and civilians of all ages are being killed, as well as kidnapped, detained indefinitely, and tortured, often systematically using sexual violence. Tens of thousands of children are being massacred, composing roughly 44% of the death toll, according to a recent UN report. Humanitarian aid is being intentionally blocked and destroyed in an effort to starve Palestinians in Gaza. In the West Bank, armed settlers who are subsidized by the Israeli government are terrorizing Palestinians, burning their villages, destroying their agricultural land, destroying their water infrastructure and stealing their water resources, demolishing their homes, shooting them with automatic rifles supplied by the government, killing farmers while they pick their olives, poisoning livestock, all with the protection of Israeli forces. Thousands of Palestinians in the West Bank have been detained indefinitely without charge by Israel, including children as young as 3 years old. Nearly 70% of the children who were detained experienced sexual violence at the hands of Israeli prison guards. What kind of trauma does that leave behind? War crime upon war crime. Since its creation, Israel has been actively destroying any progress towards global peace in the post-World War II era. The horrible, inhumane example that Israel is setting in their genocidal campaign in Palestine, and now Lebanon and Syria, is inspiring other fascist forces, such as the RSF in Sudan and the M23 rebels in the Congo. As a Black person, a descendant of people who experienced slavery and colonialism in service of Western imperial expansion, it pains me to see the violent tactics that were used on my ancestors being used on Palestinian people, again in service of Western imperial expansion.
Right.
As Ta-Nehisi Coates said, those of us who are descendants of people who have suffered under those systems, I believe, have a very, very particular and special responsibility to do something about it. Because the hope is we didn't come out of Jim Crow and we didn't come out of slavery just to be partial to those systems being inflicted on other people.
Yes.
Thank you.
As people of conscience, all of us, we have to do everything in our power to get our governments to stop arming and funding Israel now.
Nadia, thank you for your words. Thank you for your shares. I want to now welcome Millie Bonila, and she's going to read a poem by Carmen Moreno. And really, thank you so much for coming forward. Here you are.
Viva Puerto Rico! So I want to say I've been in rallies from Puerto Rico to New York, and this is my first time with the raging Grannies. So it's so great, to uplift you and, the work you do and the work that we all must do, and we must continue in la lucha, in the battle to end this genocide. And we have a quote that says, from Puerto Rico to Palestine, occupation is a crime. From Puerto Rico to Palestine, occupation is a crime. From Puerto Rico to Palestine, occupation is a crime. So, Judy, contacted someone who said they couldn't do it, so I said, yes, I can come and say the poem. So listen, the woman who wrote this poem, I never met her. And her name was Senen Moreno. And she went to Palestine in 2002 and passed away that same year. And she was a poet. I was talking to someone who was in the Young Lords, one of the women of the Young Lords, and said that they went to Cuba together in 1969 and spent 2 months in Cuba. I just came from Cuba too, in July, and you know, there's a devastation that's happening there too. And we were hoping that Cuba can be removed from the imagine Cuba's on the terrorist list? I mean, Israel, please. Yeah, so, and when someone passes, we say their name and we say presente, right? So, Senen Moreno, presente. All the martyrs in Palestine, presente. All the fighters and the radicals, the activists, the grannies who are with us, presente. Okay, hold on. Oops. Let's see what this is. I put the little stickers. So this poem is called If Only, and this she wrote in 2002. And when you hear this poem, could be said that it is written a minute ago in 2024. If only I could say what is in the faces of the Palestinians looking at their homeland through the barbed wires of the refugee camps. If only I could say what is in the genetic history of generations of Palestinians whose memories live in the houses bulldozed by the state of Israel. If only I could say what is in the hearts of the thousands walking, a baby with a bullet hole in her stomach to her final rest. If only I could say what made an enraged teenage Palestinian strap explosives around her waist and walk into a crowd of those who occupied her homeland. If only I could say what's in the mind of a father who realizes his son is dead, even after protecting him from his own body. And if only I could say what drove a 9-year-old to stand in the middle of the street and pick up a rock as a tank turns its cannons toward him. If only I could say what a mother feels seeing her child blown up and his flesh crushed as the tanks move on. If only I could say what is the language of the family graves in olive and orange groves wrenched from their pre-biblical roots. If only I could say what is in the future of a child aiming a slingshot at an Israeli soldier, aiming US of A tax dollar issued high-powered rifles at him. If only I could say what are the emotions of a mother as she cleans her child's face with her spit to prepare him for burial in the dark of her backyard, alone because the water and the electricity have been cut for weeks, along with the food supply, and anyone caught outside without permission is shot dead. Who will clean her face? Who will clean her face if she has one? And she wrote this in 2002. If only I can say, 4:05 a.m., sábado 23 de marzo. Que viva Palestina. From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Next we have the Queen's Rager. I'm happy to introduce to you Fotine. Many of you already know her. She's going to sing a pro-Palestine song. Thank you, Fotine.
Hi everybody, how are you? I want to say a couple words before. You know, I have family, distant family in Palestine. You know, I'm not Palestinian, but you know, I know that they're great people. But I know as this conflict has gone on, I've worked with families in Gaza through the internet, and I will say that, like, you know, we talk a lot about what Israel's doing to them, but them as people are such beautiful people. Like, you know, they're so mindful, like, to ask how I'm doing and to worry about what's happening here in America. So, like, you know, as people, they're such steadfast people. You know, you see people who've never been really religious kind of see the steadfast of the people, how they love one another, and, like, you know, it makes you see that people are inspired. Like, instead of the protests getting smaller, they're growing every time we go. You know, people are learning, people want to ask questions, and, like, you know, I know that we always kind of center what Israel does to them, but at the same time, like, you know, Israel's there because of what a beautiful land it is and what kind of beautiful, easygoing, sweet people these people are, and that's what happened to them. So, you know, I'm going to sing a song, but I just want to kind of center, like, you know, Palestine is an amazing place. Like, Jesus for Palestine, Mary was for Palestine. You know, everything kind of centers in that area. So, you know, it just shows the kind of salt of the earth people they are. So we just want to bring them to the forefront a little bit. And then I'm going to sing from my phone. So usually I have a track, but I'm going to do a little singing. So if you guys know the song, which a lot of you might, please feel free to sing along.
Really close to your mouth.
Yes.
Yes, right in the mic.
Another head hangs lowly, child is slowly taken, and the violence caused such silence. Who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In their head, in your head, they are crying, free Palestine, free Palestine. Zionist zombie, 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 eh, eh, doo doo. Another mother's breaking, heart is taking over. When the violence caused such silence, who are we mistaken? It's the same old team since 1948. Free Palestine, free Palestine. They're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are fighting. Free Palestine. Come on, guys. Free Palestine. For zombie, Zionist zombie, zombie. Hey, hey. Thank you, guys. Free
See one another, and I hope people know that there are lots of events coming up in the future as well, including
Yes, if folks want to join us tomorrow, we have the first production of the new theater company, the Rising Together Talk Back Theater Company. The play is called Reap What You Sow, Don't Lose Heart, and it'll be at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening at Mary House. Kathy will moderate the talk back, and then we'll do it again on Sunday at 4 p.m. I have some flyers if you'd like them.
Thank you, Zola, and thank you to the Rangers
Yeah, there are so many folks who would rather see.
And Kufi. If you won't take that money, pay back donations. It's campaign finance genocide. That's why tens of thousands of dollars die. Expose all those golden rod. Campaign finance genocide. It's campaign finance genocide.
Really incredible experience.